Hello and welcome again to another episode of Battle Ready.
I thought we aren't ready because we have no models on the table.
Well, we're not ready for battle, but we are ready to discuss some Warhammer Plus. So it's been a little while since we've talked Warhammer Plus on the channel. They did a couple of things that were really, really good, and they've done a couple of things recently that have not been as good. Like they went to sort of an every other week schedule on animations, and then the off weeks sort of, they're okay. But overall, we still enjoy, I think the animation's the most, right? Yeah, so we still like the animations. And in that in particular, we thought we'd review the most recent one, the Exodite.
The Diexa.
The Daito X. Now, if you haven't watched the Exodite, this is going to probably have some spoilers in it, so bear that in mind. We'll try to keep it I'll try to keep it pretty spoiler free. Drake likes to spoil. But we'll try to keep it spoiler free. But the Exodite. So I think we both have some good things to say about the Exodite and a couple of not as good things. So let's start with the positives. What's your positives?
I like that the elves lose.
Just gonna run right out with the spoilers, huh? Just the first thing. First thing you're gonna do is spoil. You're like, I'm not gonna spoil, and the very first thing you said was like, spoil. You can't trust this kid. All right. Well, I'll tell you a couple things that I love. I thought it looked amazing.
Yes.
The animation was super duper duper good.
Probably took you a week to draw one spark.
It had a really clear and clean animation style. It's in that sort of 3D animation, super duper good. Sometimes even though I love Hammer and Bolter, and I really enjoyed Angels of Death, they didn't always sync up the talking and the mouths super good. And a lot of times they'll film it with the person speaking away or with their mouth hidden by shadows or something. It's like, okay, well, you just didn't want the pain of having to animate that. But the Exodite does it really well. Super duper good animation.
Yes.
What else would we like about the Exodite? Well, I'll tell you a couple other things. I liked that it focused on non-Imperium stuff. Everything, well, not everything, but a lot of the stuff that's come out for Warhammer Plus has been very Imperium focused. We're learning about knights, and we're learning about Space Marines, and we're learning about
Mercenaries.
All kinds of stuff, right? And it's all very Imperium focused or Imperium adjacent, like the one where the AdMech guy and his robot are looking for plans and stuff. So that it was cool to have an animation where there was Imperium stuff sort of going on in the background.
Imperium.
The Tau were clearly at war with the Imperium of Man, and so you do get to see some of the battles
there
from
was Mega Titans though.
Yeah, we got to see some of the War Titans. That was pretty cool.
There's only a couple left in the universe.
But you got to see it sort of from a high level, right? You didn't get into the nitty gritty of how the battles went. But that was sort of cool. I liked that the Imperium was in the background for once, and this was really a story about the Tau and about an Eldar guy.
Who did weird things. He bought Eldar mechs.
What else do you think?
I liked that there was a war.
Okay, you like the fighting. It did have good combat, for sure. So far, all the Hammer, Bolter, Angels of Death, everything's done a really good
job of showing gore.
Really well, yeah. The combat has been really fun, from big scale battles to sort of one-on-one duel type things. I mean, all the combats have been really fun, really fun.
Even if you're not doing them.
Some of them are pretty exciting. Mm-hmm. Some of them, like in Old Baelai, there's even some comical stuff. So it's been really good.
Old Baelai is still the best.
That's still the best Hammer Bolter, for sure. So I think we liked that. What else? Did we like anything else?
One cool part was that very first part of the very first episode, where the ship comes in to protect the little ship.
Yeah, Yeah,
Big ship to
seeing
help
some of the
him
ship
avoid.
combat was pretty cool.
Zoom.
That was cool. So I think there are a lot of things to like. Now, I think for both Drake and I, there's a couple things we didn't like.
Uh-huh.
All right, what do you think?
I had no clue what was going on.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest negative.
All I got was there's a dude who's activating Mystic Gateway thingamajiggers that feeds a dude to the Black Reaper and gets Eldari Titans. That's all I got.
Yeah, okay, we're not super involved in 40K lore.
The biggest we do is kill team.
Yeah, we've read a little bit about the Octaria sector, but we haven't read 40K novels.
No.
We don't own any 40K codexes,
No,
codices.
We own a singular 40K model.
Yeah, so we just don't know that much about the lore. So maybe if you're a big fan of the Tau and you just know everything there is to know about Tau, it makes more sense. Or maybe if you know all about the Eldar and the Exodites and what they're up and about and that sort of thing, maybe that fills in a lot of the background and you say, oh yeah, of course, it's obvious what he's doing. For somebody who doesn't know the lore, it's it's pretty, things are just sort of happening. There's a lot of confusion. And I think that's important because when it comes to the Warhammer stories, I've read a good number, not everything, but I've read now a good number of the Age of Sigmar novels. And I would say that all of them are more enjoyable if you know the lore.
I still want to read Gloomspite.
But some of them are enjoyable only if you know the lore. Yeah. When I'm reading them, I think, oh man, if I were to give this to my wife enjoys fantasy novels. And so it's not a genre that she would hate. I think she would like some of them. But sometimes I would look at them and say, yeah, you're not gonna get this one. This one's not gonna, and I won't call anything out specifically, but you're not gonna get this one. And the one that I thought the opposite of, actually, that I have read recently, even though it's not a recent release, is Gloomspite.
Gloomspite, I want to read it.
I think you'd like it. I actually think anybody who wanted to read...
Isn't that the sequel-like thing of Boskrat?
No. I think anybody who wanted to read a book from Age of Sigmar but didn't know much about the lore could read Gloomspite and pretty much enjoy it. So if you don't know much about the lore, Gloomspite would be a good one. But there are other ones that aren't like that. And I think that the Exodite sort of falls into that second category. Maybe it makes a lot of sense and it's a brilliant adaptation if you already know the background. But as people who don't, not great. And that also makes it pretty hard to recommend to somebody else. Like somebody else who wants to know some Warhammer stuff and I'm trying to introduce, I might say, hey, let's watch Old Baelai. It's cool.
Yeah.
And it'll give you a sense of what orcs and the humans are like. Or, let's watch Angels of Death. That's really cool if we want something a little bit more long form. But I would never, in a million years, say to somebody absolutely new, oh, you gotta watch the Exodite. This thing is amazing. I don't think I don't know what's going on, and somebody who has even less 40K knowledge than me would also not know what's going on.
But what happens when you reach the million years?
Yeah, well then we're in the M4, I guess, of the timeline. So it's 40K, so we only need to do 36 million more years.
We're not even at the first millennium.
No, we're in the third millennium right now.
Yay.
So we got 2 down, 2 millennia down. But so I think that's really the hardest part because the Exodite, it's not clear why he's turning on these beacons.
No.
It's not 100% clear why the Tau want to stop him.
No.
Other than, so without getting too much into it, the Tau believe that the Exodite's actions are what is causing the Tau and the Imperium to fight. That he's responsible basically for fostering this war. And so by stopping him, they think that they're going to be able to stop the war with the Imperium of Man, which, given how the Imperium of Man feels about Xenos species, is sort of a bizarre contention. I don't know. But yeah, it's just there's not a lot to connect it all together. And then at the very end, these super mechs come out and fight, and that's sort of cool for a second. And then there's, I don't want to call it a cliffhanger, but there's an ending where the main Tau person ends up in a place, and I think we're supposed to think it's the realm of chaos. And I'm not 100% sure if that's what it is. And I'm not 100% sure if there's supposed to be added significance to that, since the Tau are completely unpsychic. They're not a psychic race, at least that's my understanding. They don't have any psychers. Yeah. So, and since the warp, not the realm of chaos, the warp is a psychic area. Is that supposed to be significant that a Tau got into the warp? I don't know. I think just a lot of it was lost on me.
All I know is that the Eldari dude was talking to one of them, and the other one got sacrificed to the Black Reaper. I remember a Black Reaper.
There was a Black Reaper apparently.
There was.
I
the third episode.
I believe you.
Reaper.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. So I think the bottom line of the Exodite is visually very, very cool.
Yes.
Some of the fighting, very, very cool. Yes. Nice to see some non-Imperium storylines.
Well, just not Imperium main. They're still Imperium in it.
They are, but they're background, really. Yeah. Like, there's no Imperium person who speaks. It's not even a speaking role. There's a guy who screams, but no words, right?
Well, there is that one bruiser.
Yeah, he screams. He goes, ah, when he dies.
Ah.
But when it comes to the actual plot, I don't know. I would be interested to know in the comments, anybody else who watched it and can say, oh, yeah, it makes total sense. Here's what they were doing, and if you'd read these codices, you'd know.
Please help
That
us.
would be cool. I would actually really welcome that. If or maybe there's some 40K fans out there who are like, well, either it's way too much to explain, or they might say, yeah, we're just as confused as the two of you. All right. So, yeah, but definitely very interested to know what you all think of the Exodite, and whether we're way off base, whether there's some subtlety we just didn't see. And I also think it didn't help that, at least with Angels of Death and with Hammer and Bolter, although it doesn't matter so much for Hammer and Bolter, but with Angels of Death, it was released weekly.
Yeah.
So only a week went by before we got the next episode. Whereas in the Exodite, it was 2 weeks in between each one. Mm. So a lot of times I'd have to go back and watch the one before to sort of remember what was happening. And even then I'd think, oh wait, I still don't understand what's happening. And so the 2 weeks in between wasn't great. And it's only 3 episodes, right? Angels of Death was 8? 10? Something like that. So it had a lot more development, and you got to sort of understand.
Episodes. There was.
You think 10?
Or maybe.
It was either 8 or 10. But there was more development, and you got to sort of understand the characters a little bit better. And with the Exodite, it was just basically over before it got going. And I don't know, I guess that also contributed to my feeling like, well, I guess things happened.
Yeah.
Fighting cool, but not really getting into it in the same way. So, and again, any final thoughts, Drake?
Orcs would make it cooler.
Orcs make everything cooler. That's
exactly.
True. We just need some green skins, and I think you know what we should do is you should save up your money and finish up your Iron Jaws for Orktober.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think that just about does it. Again, very, very interested to see what other people thought of the Exodite. Try to keep it spoiler free in the comments if you can, but if not, Drake already ruined like most of it, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Well, this has been another episode of Battle Ready, and thank you so much for watching.